The Spurs are taking on the champs. And who would have thought, if I had asked you this question before the season started, that on November 14th, 2022, 13 games into the season, which team would have a better record? Would it be the San Antonio Spurs or the NBA champion Golden State Warriors, a Warriors team with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, with Jordan Poole, with Wiseman? Such a fantastic roster over there. Which team would have the better record? Believe it or not, the Spurs do. The Spurs right now are 6-7, 3-2 on the road, taking on the Golden State Warriors tonight. It's a late tip-off. We're going to be up late tonight, 9 p.m. tip-off. We have our Spurs insider, Carolina Teague, with us right now. Carolina Teague, how surprised are you that Golden State has such a bad record?
It actually really surprises me. I wouldn't have thought that coming into this game that the Warriors would have the fourth worst defensive unit in the league, because they have a nice defensive shot profile that makes them seem like they're preventing opponents from getting efficient looks, but they're allowing the least amount of shot attempts at the rim. So it's really interesting to see how they've struggled this past season. But they're currently, I think, 0-7 on away games. I was really hoping that this game would be an away game. They're playing at the AT&T Center because the odds would have been in the Spurs' favor that the Spurs would win tonight. But unfortunately, they're at home right now.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. Golden State winless in 7 attempts as the defending NBA champions, but they're 5-1 at home. Right now, Golden State's favored by 7.5 points. Vegas has it as a high-scoring game, and the reason why they have it as a high-scoring game is because the Spurs defense is struggling these days. Offensively, they're able to move the ball around. It's very unselfish play, but something's going on defensively where they're giving up a lot of points. What do you think the reason behind that is?
I don't know. I have my conspiracy theory. It could be because Joshua Primo is no longer on the team and he no longer provides, that defensive help that he did. But it could also be just the fact that the Spurs are young, they're still developing, and they need to improve on defense, period. One of the things that I really like is that Jeremy Sohan, who is going to, in my opinion, going to be a breakout defensive star on the Spurs, it's going to take him time to develop and get used to how it is playing a game in the NBA. But he did show that he was excited about them going on this road trip. And I think that this team, regardless of them having defensive struggles, they have a lot of great chemistry. And I'm excited to see how they're going to end up developing later on in the season.
Talking to Carolina Teague, our Spurs insider, literally 5 minutes ago, Sports Illustrated released its power rankings for the NBA. And they have the Spurs listed as number 21 out of 30. They dropped them from 18 to 21. And it says the number one reason why they're dropping in their power rankings is the fact it says, quote, the Spurs sit as 28th in the league in defensive rating, something that has been an emerging factor this season. It says San Antonio starts a grueling 5-game road trip on Monday tonight against the Warriors, followed by matchups against Portland Trailblazers, Sacramento Kings, LA Clippers, and LA Lakers. Now, that's a very interesting point to bring up, is that right now, we're kind of in a situation where we don't know what direction the Spurs are going to go in. Are they going to be a team that competes for a play-in spot? Are they going to be a team that competes for a top lottery pick? The Spurs beat the Milwaukee Bucks Friday night. Milwaukee came into San Antonio with the best record in the NBA, but they sat Giannis out because of a knee injury. They also sat out Chris Middleton. Spurs were victorious that day. Don't get me wrong, a lot of people were excited about that, but we played a JV team that night. But looking forward to this week, though, these 5 games right here, do you think the Spurs have a chance of winning 2, 3? Where are you looking at when it comes to the Warriors, Blazers, Kings, Clippers, and Lakers? Because I see the Spurs winning 2 of them.
I see the Spurs winning 3 of them. I think the Spurs can beat the Lakers. I think the Spurs can possibly beat the Kings and possibly beat the Lakers. It's not as a strenuous road or trip stretch that we've seen the past 5 games where I felt like they were going up against a lot of talent. And also they're coming off those injuries that they had earlier on where Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson were out. I think people are not giving Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell a lot of credit where credit's due. The reason why they have been performing as well as they have and they were able to defeat the Bucks regardless if the whole team was out, it seems like, is because they played really, really well. So I think people are underestimating them as far as how effective Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson have been. And when they get the help offensively that they need, then they end up winning these games. So I think it's possible and definitely doable that they can win the next 3 games. If they do more, it's going to be way more impressive. But I just don't think that they're giving credit where credit is due, but time will tell.
I think the Spurs have chances most definitely against both LA teams. If Kawhi is not there and it's a very depleted Clippers team, that's a winnable game. The Lakers suck. They just do. Sacramento is very, very possible. The next 2 games though against Golden State and Portland are going to be the 2 hardest of the bunch. But I'm looking at the Warriors right now. Steph Curry averaging 32.8 points per game. Kevon Looney, kind of weird though. They don't rebound as much because Looney leads that team and he only averages 7 rebounds a game. Draymond Green's averaging 7 assists. I wonder, this is what I want to look at tonight's game. I want to see, that meme where it's the Spider-Man meme where they're pointing at each other. It's like,
yeah, that's my favorite meme.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
they point at each other like, you're like me and I'm like you, and we're twins.
I want to see Draymond Green and Jeremy Sohan look at each other and realize, oh my God, we're the exact same player. I want Draymond Green to put his arm around Sohan and go, you're doing exactly what I'm doing.
Can we just go ahead and talk about Jeremy Sohan's hair for just a second? Because I love his pink hair. I love the Fiesta themes too, by the way, but I love that Jeremy Sohan keeps that same energy with changing his hair color. And I feel like his hair color affects his mood. Pink by far is my favorite. I love the pink hair on Jeremy Sohan. I think that he's gonna be amped up. He's gonna turn up a little bit more with this new pink hair. I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see how. I'm actually going to keep an eye out on pink hair Jeremy Sohan. How many wins can we get with the pink hair? That's my main thing right there. And you know what? You brought a good point up with the Clippers too. I forgot about my other conspiracy where if Devin Vassell would have played 3 more minutes, they would have won that game. Paul George had his emergence in the 4th quarter and came out really well. But I feel like the Clippers game is also doable should Devin Vassell play at full capacity.
That is so funny. The pink hair though. I like that. You said the pink is your favorite color. That's actually a line from Aerosmith back in the mid-90s for their song Pink. But, Sohan is fascinating. He's growing on me. I'm not 100% sold yet, but I understand it. I get the reason why a lot of Spurs fans like him. I get it. It makes sense to me now. But
I've been 100%. Oh.
But Devin Vassell, though. I mean,
yeah.
Don't know if you ever saw the movie Troy. The movie Troy, where you have Brad Pitt's character and he has his cousin who gets killed because he looks and walks and acts and just moves like him. The more I see Devin Vassell out there, I'm like, oh my God, that's Kawhi Leonard out there. That's Kawhi Leonard without being a head case. I describe Keldon Johnson as having the incremental growth of a points per game pattern, a points per game increase, an increase in 3-point shooting as Kawhi-ish. But when it comes to the actual physicality of the game and how they look and feel on the court, Devin Vassell, that guy is a super stud. I love Devin Vassell on this team.
I love Devin Vassell on this team too, and I feel like since DeJounte Murray left and they did this new, really just purging pretty much the whole team and just leaving the Spurs with Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson as the forefronters of this team, it seems like Devin Vassell has really, really shined and has been actually like probably everyone's favorite player. Like if you're a purist when it comes to basketball and you like two-way players, people who are effective on both sides of the ball, people who are constantly aggressive and are consistent every single game, Devin Vassell is a shoo-in for being somebody's favorite player. And then when it comes to Jeremy Sohan, you said you're not totally sold on him. I've been 100% on him since day one.
That is true.
When he had the Dennis, I feel like when you are Dennis Rodman reincarnated, which is my personal favorite player of all time, and you have that, I know how Dennis Rodman thinks. I know how Dennis Rodman enjoys defense. I know how Dennis Rodman rewatches games and puts his heart and soul into that. And if Jeremy Sohan is anything like Dennis Rodman when it comes to the defensive standpoint, he's going to be a star. Not now. Maybe there's going to be off times, but I think he's going to emerge as a reincarnation of Dennis Rodman, and I'm excited for it.
Our Spurs insider, Carolina Teague, one last question for you. We actually got two, but one real fast. Who you got tonight? Rapid fire. Who you got tonight?
Give me this. Go ahead and give me the Spurs. Why not?
I'm gonna go
I
Warrior.
hope the Warriors.
I'm gonna go Warriors by 7. They're favored by 9. And one last thing, an NFL question for you. You posted, I don't know if it was Twitter or if it was Facebook, something to the effect of how watching NFL football just physically hurts you or just makes you feel emotional. Are you
Yeah.
okay?
No, I'm not. I hate the NFL right now. I just want to just say to all of the Dallas Cowboys fans, y'all had one job. Your team had one job, and that was to defeat the Green Bay Packers. And you guys could not defeat the Green Bay Packers. That was the first time in Dallas Cowboys history, out of having a 14-point lead, they're 195-0 when they have a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter. The Cowboys blew it, and they lost to the Green Bay Packers in overtime. Where are you guys at?
Okay.
Why are you guys
First of
losing
all,
this game? And Cooper, can I just say Cooper Rush? I mean, like, I know people say Dak is a better quarterback than Cooper Rush, but I don't know. The track record to me kind of looks like they were doing a lot better when Cooper Rush was playing. So,
I
I'm
enjoy the
impressed.
segue. I enjoy the segue. Now, keep in mind, Cowboy fans, she's not coming at this from Cowboy hate. She's coming out of this opinion from Chicago Bears love.
Right.
Bears and Packers in the same division. You did them no favors, is basically what she's saying. But
Yeah,
here's
now Bears are 3-7.
But you know what? I'm gonna piggyback off of what you said right there and talk about that on the other side. That is Carolina Teague, our Spurs insider. Spurs again tonight taking on the Golden State Warriors. 9 p.m. tip-off. Warriors favored by 9. I think the Spurs cover, but lose. That is Carolina Teague. Follow her on Twitter at Carolina Teague _.